Hey guys, as you know, I was participating in the Bout of Books 10.0 readathon. I did update blog posts every day this whole week for the readathon, and I will link my blog down below so you guys can check those out. And now I'm gonna tell you guys what I read during the readathon. I freaking rocked this readathon. You guys don't even know. I had a goal TBR with books that if I got through them during this readathon, it would be a success. And it was more than a success. I got through pretty much every single book on my TBR, my goal books, and if I finish my goal books, I'll read these. I pretty much got through all of them. I ended up reading 12 books, except technically 7 of them were graphic novels, and one was a novella, and another one was a short story collection that I was already 50% of the way done with. Still 12 books! So I ended up reading 1,817 pages, which is like way more pages than I would normally read in a week. At most, I would normally read between 300 and 600 pages a week. I will talk about all of these books more in depth in my monthly review videos. Day 1, I read all of Minnie Kaling's Is Everyone Hanging Out Without Me and Other Concerns, and it was really good, obviously. I flew through it. I love her. My only problem was that some of the humor was a bit offensive. I like crude humor, but we don't have to be like super offensive. But overall, I really liked it, and I got it done in like 3 hours, so. And also on day 1 of Bout of Books, I finished up the last 40% of Echoes of Old Souls by Nika Harper, which is a short story collection. And I got the last part of this book done really quickly, like in half an hour at most. And so that was really good for the readathon. I have thoughts about this collection. I didn't particularly like it, but she has a lot of potential. This collection shows that this author has like so much potential to be really great. Started The Key to the Golden Firebird by Breen Johnson, and I didn't end up finishing this on the first day. I got a little bit more than halfway done, and then I finished it on day 2 of the readathon. And the phrase that I keep using with this book is pleasantly surprised. I related to the character a lot, and I think this is probably like my second favorite Breen Johnson book after the first Shades of London book. And then also on day 2, along with The Key to the Golden Firebird, I read Harley and Ivy by Paul Dini. It has one short comic in the beginning that doesn't really have anything to do with the rest of it, and then it has one extra comic where the art is so beautiful. I don't know if you can see any of that, but it is really cool. It's like specially painted. And then the last 3 comics go together in a storyline. Anyway, this took me about an hour to get through on Tuesday night. And then I read Chopsticks by Jessica Anthony, and if you follow me on Twitter, you know that this book blew my mind. Now this book is told all through photos. There are some instant messages and like notes and things going on, but it's mostly photos. I'm not going to tell you anything about this book because it is best to go in without knowing anything. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. This book took me, like maybe an hour to get through because I reread it. I read it twice because it was so good. It demanded an immediate reread. And then I read Batwoman Volume 1 Hydrology by G.H. Williams, and this is in the New 52 reboot. And I love this. I've never read a DC comic that I've actually really enjoyed. And obviously this was going to be the one that I fell in love with because our main character, Kate Kane, is this like badass punk lesbian redhead, and also the art in this is gorgeous too. And this took me about a half an hour to get through. And then I read Persepolis, The Story of a Childhood by Marjane Stroppi. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, I'm sorry. I read that in about an hour and a half, and then I immediately went to the library to pick up Volume 2, which is The Story of a Return, and these were unlike anything I've ever read before. They're graphic novels, but they're also like a history lesson and a personal memoir, and it was so interesting and I learned so much. And then I tried to read The Girl Who Circumnavigated Fairyland in a Ship of Her Own Making by Catherine M. Valente, but it was just not happening. I'll read that eventually, it was not a readathon book. But something I could get through in a day was The Little Android by Marissa Meyer. And obviously this is a retelling of the original Little Mermaid story, not the Disney-fied. So I was like fangirling every time I could tell like which elements of the story she used. And I know it was just a novella, but it was so good! And we got to see Cinder again, and I love the Lunar Chronicles. And I know I haven't hauled this yet. I was even gonna leave it in the box with the rest of the books that I bought from thrift books and do an unboxing, but I was like, you know what would be good for a readathon? Scott Pilgrim and the Infinite Sadness by Brian Lee O'Malley. And this took me, you know, like a half an hour. It was so much better than the second one. Okay, you guys should know that Scott Pilgrim vs. the Universe is my favorite movie of all time. The movie is exactly like these, and so I love these. I love the cutaways and just how it's set up. The only thing that I didn't like is, you know, the casual racism and Brian. And then I started Ella Enchanted by Gail Carson Levine. And what I read on day 6, which was like the first 3 chapters or something, were really good. I was like, oh yeah, this reminds me of the movie that I really like. This is awesome. And then I read the rest on day 7. I ended up finishing this on day 7. And it was okay. It just lacked the magic of the film with Anne Hathaway. I love the ending, I love the moral behind the story. It was just, there was something missing. And then when I finished Ella Enchanted, I had like an hour and a half left of day 7, and I was saving this until the end of the readathon because I knew I was going to love it and just fly through it. And that is Hawkeye Volume 1, My Life as a Weapon. And this is by Matt Fraction, and holy shit, you guys. I think this took me a little longer than it should have because I was so in love with it and I kept taking pictures of the panels and like sending them to my friends and being like, you need to read this. So this took me, you know, the full hour and a half, basically. I finished it up right before midnight. This was the greatest end to any readathon ever. This might be why I'm like, oh, Bout of Books 10.0 was so good. It was so amazing. Because it ended on this note. That is all I have for you guys today. Thanks for watching. All of my social media is down in the description. Remember that I will talk more in detail about these books in my monthly reviews, but if you want a full video review of any of these, just let me know and I will gladly do that. Remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!